Discover card, and I go, Dad, what the is this? Oh, I don't know. They called one day and said it would protect me from this, that, or the other thing. And you know, but it is. It's not great. And people, they think, you know, they tell you that you're in danger of this and you're in danger of this and you need to sign up for that. And they shouldn't be calling people and bugging them. So, you know, we thought we solved that, you know, with the do not call thing, and it seemed to help for a while. But I'm home now a lot in the daytime, and I just see that there's, you know, the phone rings a lot.
You're scammed.
Suggestion, I'm Gene Undermine, the picture up. Suggestion on that. If it's a person that's calling you, take the phone down. Let it go. Let them talk. You go about your business. I went about eating my supper one time when they called. I could hear the dishes clanging and the silverware. If it's an automated call with a recording, you sit there and push 0 a bunch of times. It'll screw up their computer.
Thank you, Mr. Otterman.
Isn't it true, though, if you get a call like that and you request that they do not call you again, please do never call me again, they legally cannot call you back?
That is the law.
Yeah, only
that's the law. Now, whether that works or not, you know, they don't. But that's what the law says. It says if you tell them not to, but who knows?
You can get on an email, right? Call list.
Right. I got a new player back. What? Ma'am.
Mary Brad Hughesville. I actually live just around. My question is, Mr. Corbett is now, I guess the verdict is questioning what the NCAA sanctions against Penn State. Will that be taken care of by an attorney that's already employed by the state, or will we have to pay more attorney fees of something that Mr. Corbett should have taken care of when he was Attorney General?
He claims that an existing attorney that's already on staff can take care of that. Of course, you know, maybe that existing attorney could be doing something else than that. But, you know, and again, he has the authority to do that. The previous Attorney General, prior to leaving office, assigned that case ceded that case to the governor. So he's got the legal authority to do it. We'll see what the new Attorney General does about that. That'll be interesting to watch that show go on.
And another thing along the pension fund. I don't know, I haven't seen anything lately, but Mr. Sandusky was still protesting that he wasn't going to get his $68,000 a year.
Yeah.
I mean, we could take $68,000 here.
He lost.
I mean, it's official.
Yeah, he lost that. He lost his appeal. He's lost everything.
Well,
so
I know but he's going to appeal again.
Can't stop that. Damn lawyers. But the Senate passed a bill today that I'm sure will be in the House when we get back. The Senate was in this week and we weren't. That says that all the fine money has to be spent in Pennsylvania. And Senator Corman from whose district includes State College, who's the prime sponsor of that bill, and he's also, and I'm not sure how Senator Corman, Jake, is funding his lawsuit, but he also has an independent lawsuit that he's filed against the NCAA for some things that he thought they overstepped. So it'll be interesting to watch how it all plays out. It's going to be a lot of interesting things down in Berg this year. Mr. Boyle.
Yeah. My son's a CEO of like a credit card company, and he says that most of those credit card charges are not going to happen because you're going to lose customers. So he said the odds are really slim. They've all discussed it, and I think 95% will not put a charge on. Plus, they have to put a sign up. You have to have a sign posted if they are going to
charge you back. Right? Sir.
I think what a lot of people don't understand, I was in business, had a couple bars and restaurants.
Your name and stuff.
My name is Brian Nasby, I'm from Hughesville. When people swipe that card,
wish that was true.
Gene Otterman, picture rock here. Back in 2006, your predecessor and a lot of legislators had a legislative meeting of the whole on gun legislation in Pennsylvania. I haven't heard anything that came out of that. Looking at what's happening on the federal level, is anything happening in Harrisburg?
What's Daryl's bill number? Get the bill number.
357, 357.
Daryl's funny guy. Daryl is a funny guy. Daryl Metcalf, who's a little bit to the right of Wright, is also the chairman of the state government committee. And he's introduced that legislation that you see has been introduced in a lot of other states, that if the federal government would do this, that, thus or so, that if this bill would pass in Pennsylvania, that we would not enforce, you know, the laws in Pennsylvania. So that bill exists in Pennsylvania. It's there. Hopefully we won't have to do anything about it. You know, and I've said at the other town halls, you know, I think we just all need to remain calm on this issue and just let it play out down in D.C. and let everybody have their say. I don't think there's the votes down there to do anything, hardly anything at all. Maybe something on background checks, and maybe I think background checks are probably not a bad idea for certain kinds of, you know, if you're buying one of those, you know, high caliber, high volume weapons, maybe it's a good idea to see, you know, that you're a little, at least half balanced before you run around with one.
I have no problem with background check on any.
Yeah, I don't either. And you know, I've talked to a lot of people up here. You know, and you all, you know, you have friends, I'm sure, that are very, you know, very out there on this issue, on maybe both sides. And it just gets people all fired up. It's one of those hot button issues that people just get all, you know, wrapped around the axle about. I think we just need to let it play out. And, you know, the thing that does concern me is that, you know, our federal legislators spend all this time and energy on an issue like this when, you know, we have such humongous issues down there to deal with that they won't deal with, and, you know, but they'll spend all the time in the world, you know, posing. I just happened to have the TV on when I was running through the House today, and, you know, they were doing Senator Hagel's, you know, confirmation hearing in the Senate, and they're all making their speeches, and, oh my God, you know, just, you know, do some real work, solve some real work.
Control the chaos.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things that could be done. There's just lots of things that could be done that need to be done. And, enough of that. Sir.
Harry Merson Munson. You just made a comment about, with the gun laws, about not enforcing it in this state.
Any new, restrict.
But how do I know which law is going to be enforced and which one is not? Not only with the guns, it's just like you run around here.
Yeah.
All our roads locally have a 10-ton weight limit. I see tractor trailers running up and down. I see triaxle dump trucks running up and down, and I'm sure that a lot of them, just their empty weight is 10 tons, but nobody enforces.
Some of those, let me do which question first. Well, if the federal government passed some law that was overly restrictive, was restrictive of anything to do with the Second Amendment, I mean, the first place it's going to go is the Supreme Court. And even if we pass a law in Pennsylvania, say we're not going to enforce federal law, the law that we pass would be unconstitutional because there's a supremacy clause in the Constitution that federal law. So it would be more a statement than an actual enforceable law. But I think the purpose that we're doing those laws for is just to let the folks in Washington understand where their constituencies are on these issues. It's more a message type thing.
I don't think they're getting it.
You know, weight limits on the roads, the local ordinances that are put in that post and bond those roads, many of those ordinances have in them exceptions for local deliveries. So if you're getting your house built or something, you can run triaxles out to a local delivery to a home with gravel and stuff to do that. Or we put some exceptions in that would allow for emergency vehicles and local. So and that is, in a lot of the municipalities that put those ordinances into effect don't have police forces, so there's only the state police to enforce them. So I'm not saying that people aren't running the roads that have the limits on. What they do enable the municipalities to do is to require the gas companies that are running the roads to have a excess maintenance agreement with the township to make sure that any damage that's done by the gas company that's running the road regularly has to pay for fixing the road and putting it back in the condition it was, or better when they're done. Is what the whole purpose of that posting and bonding was about in most cases. It used to be, before we got into the gas world, it was mostly having to do with quarrying and logging, is what it was designed for, just to make sure that constant heavy haulers who were using the roads and abusing the roads were the ones that had to fix it. And that's how it's being applied. We're trying not to catch local mom and pop people in that net all the time. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't understand. Today I can run this road and you say, hi, and tomorrow you say.
Well, here's the deal. If somebody is running the road regularly with heavy loads, that's then DOT or the township will get a hold of them and say, hey, you need to get a permit to do that, and you need to go through our ordinance process. If somebody runs, it's just a balance, trying to be reasonable and make sure that folks who are running those roads a lot with heavy loads are putting a bond out to make sure that the road gets fixed, or fixing it in advance so that we don't get left with busted up roads. Sir?
Yeah, Bob on Green Valley again.
Yep.
How can we expect the gas companies to rebuild our roads, and our roads are a piece of crap before the gas companies come in? Last time Green Valley was cut was 1972. And these widen,
You're not the only people I know on Green Valley Road.
And if I can answer that.
Yes, sir. You certainly can. I don't want to be funny about it.
I've spoken to PennDOT
Yeah.
6 times in the 20 years I've lived on Green Valley Road about the condition of that road, about the fact that every winter it gets an inch or two more narrow, as bigger and bigger pickup trucks are coming up that road. I drive a tiny Toyota Yaris. And if there's a full-size pickup truck coming the other way, one of us has to go off the edge of the road. Most often the truck. And that means that edge of that road is being torn up more and more. Now, PennDOT tells me that we have it budgeted, then we don't have it budgeted, then we have it budgeted, then we don't have it budgeted. 2 years ago, I spoke to them, and they said, we don't have the money right now, but we think it's in the next 5 years. And yet I turn around, because our road is in incredibly bad shape. I talked to them about it. I turn around, and I see a road up on the edge of Hughesville that's a state road that has about as many houses on it and about as much traffic, but maybe the houses don't look quite as nice on our road as they do on this one. And this one has been repaved and re-edged and
Just out of curiosity,
lined
which one was
when
it?
it was never even close to the condition that our road was in.
So which road was the road they got?
Well, I'm actually talking about up here along the cemetery, and then cutting back, out towards the 40, and then it cuts out and comes out on Chippewa. And those roads, I mean, again, they were never nearly as bad as our road was in the first place, and yet they have been repaved and are perfect and are shoulder to shoulder out there. And, again, when we stand out there and we look at these sorts of things, we got to wonder, do we not have the influence? Do we not have the nice, McMansions on the road there, like these other places that they, maybe they carry a little more influence with PennDOT? But this is a serious safety issue. There is
Green Valley Road again.
Yeah, because, on Green Valley, the last couple of years, you know, having the office, you know, once a year on for, and I talked to the supervisors and it does need widening, they know it needs widening. But we wound up lacking to take care of the rest. Now, Clarkstown Road has been widened the last time, and it's been repaid all the way across to Clarkstown, at least 5 times, you know, in the last 10 years.
That's the township road now, they turned it over to the township, that's why,
It's
because
still a Warren Township.
the Clarkstown Road, the township actually, pays that. It's not PennDOT that handles that one. They turned over that section of Clarkstown Road over to Clarkstown Township.
Yes, that's the last time.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why.
Because
Oh, sure, yeah, and that's all,
because
yeah.
our mill
They've done that
institution,
several
because
times.
we didn't need all those beds, and then they ended up in the county jail and the state prison because they couldn't manage for themselves, and that increased all those things. Back to the same thing. The law.
This is a safety matter, I think we're gonna, right below, King Tom and I say, the driveway over there has been lean for the last 10 years. And the whole road, the trees need trimmed out there in those pines, because it does not get the sun at all in the winter. And that's just heat out.
It is, yeah. It's real shady there.
Yeah, now, here, last year, down the road from us, they did a beautiful job trimming that out. Then you just started around the turn. And I asked them, no, this is our last thing. And, you know, they haven't trimmed those trees out, and those guardrails are laying, no, leaning.
I know what you mean.
And then, you know, there's just, well, we have to go with, DEP to, you know, straighten that out. Nothing being done.
I have a PennDOT meeting coming up. I'll ask him about the Green Valley, and we sure will. Yeah, we'll do it. Ma'am.
My name's Barb Miller, live up by Beaver Lake. But, I've lived in that area all my life. I'm a lifetime resident up there. And, Beaver Lake Road, as contradicting what he said, is just wonderful. It's like a super highway now. It was terrible that the gas company made it worse, and while they were doing that, the highway, the PennDOT went along and dug up all the things as well, you know. So it was just terrible for a while. I told everybody, for heaven's sake, don't use that road. And now it's like a super highway. They widened it, and I can't say enough.
It was bad for a while, though.
It was.
It was bad.
It was.
And I think no matter who did the work, I think the gas company paid for most of it.
I think they did too. I hope that they did. Yeah.
There was different contractors in and PennDOT was in it, yeah. As they should. I mean, they really put it down.
And look how quickly they put in the bridge at Yankus after the flood.
Gas company did that. Yeah, they paid all that.
Yeah, I mean,
Otherwise, we'd have been doing that too,
they fix the roads that they need. You done that? Okay, that's it for doing.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out.